Hey there, welcome to At Home with Joe's Pilates, because we're all at home. Are you on your mat? Try and get yourself on your mat, folks. Try and do this. Well done for showing up. So we're just going to, as usual, take a couple of breaths just to separate from whatever it was you were doing to this. Breathe it in. And exhale all of that away. Literally, you have to go through this process. You are very busy, so just make that separation. And breathe in, step back into your body. Think where the breath travels. Let's try and get it in our back. Just throw it down your neck, your clavicles, your chest. Expand it into your ribcage there. And as you exhale, just think how level your shoulders are here at the top of your body. Are you stood nice and erect, letting your body just work its most efficiently? Breathe down into your belly. Well done for that. And exhale, purse up those pelvic floor strings, belly button in. We're going to just nod our chin to chest. We're going to feel that release down your neck, down your back, down to your shoulders. Just welcoming yourself into your session. Bringing it back up. We're going to do run a stretch today. Stepping one foot, hip distance apart, still forward. Breath to prepare. I think it's good to do it on the side here. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor, keep your back super straight, bending that back knee. You can lean on it as well there. Breathe into your thoracic, and as you exhale, if you can, if you wish, just draw your chest towards your thigh, lifting this toe. Good work. How's your back? Is it nice and straight? We're not arcing the back exercise. We're lengthening this leg exercise. If you want more, you can reach for your toe. Try and keep your back straight, not tilted, or we can wrap our fingers around our thighs, the back of your thighs, back of your legs. Breath. Just trying to feel square, drawing your belly button in. Breath. Maybe unhook your hands, attach them behind your back and reach. Think about what you feel. Nice stretch in your shoulders. Breath in, we're preparing to exchange, coming back up, other leg. So take one foot forward or one back, feet are forward. Breath, exhale. Bending that knee at the back there, hinging at the hips, lifting that front toe. Little breaths. Up your back, exhale. Make this space really short. Ooh, fuzzy fly. Clasp your hands behind your back. Oh no, behind your legs first. Breath. Deepen, square. Ooh. Can we undo? Readjust. Up your back. Breath. Squeeze in your scapula, narrow in that space. Breath, come back up. Lovely job. Okay. Mini squats, hinge, bend the knees, coming back up with a breath. Exhale, maybe lift the arms, drop your ribs tight to your body, come up, hips forward, little swizzle behind. Breath to the center, and exhale. Here we go. Breathe to the center. So I'm going to go deeper into this. And exhale. Just going to do 10 of these. What was interesting is I've had loads of people with rotator cuff tendinitis. So This, just bringing your elbows into your waist and just twisting the band so that you've got a nice tight hold of it, a bit more narrow. Elbows into your waist, and then doing a little pull on the band there. Exhale down, breathing up. Remember, you don't need to do the band at all. You can just concentrate on some squats. Keeping your back straight, hinging at the hip, bending those knees over those heels. Remembering that lovely, that's a bit wide there. Remember that lovely distance, that L-shaped finger into so that we try not to lengthen this space as you go down. So what I'm doing is my knuckles are up when I'm opening the band there. This gets your deltoids and your biceps. If you come up, I'm just twisting the band under as I open into there so that I just make the band a bit tighter for that dumb-waiter band stretch. Just going to do 4 more of these. Exhale down, breathing up. There. Exhale down, push into your heels, coming back up. 1 more here. It's quite hard, that, actually. Okay, so we're going to do a little quad stretch because we're going to do wall sit today because you're at home, you've probably got room to do that. So just, we need to stretch these out though for quad stretch. Just balancing on one leg, breath to prepare. Spreading those toes, keeping those hips nice and level, knee down. That's it. You can do your arm if you wish. Then come down, breath. You know, I'm a bit squashed there in that hip, so just doing a little lift, trying to get the ribs nice and close to the body. Just 10 seconds on here. Whew. Rest. And release. Meander over to the other side. Secure your core to lift this leg. Squeeze the heel into your bum. There. Rest. And so, if you like, you can pop your hand down your back, tucking your tailbone under, but not your ribs there. Rest. Release. Be the same for a few seconds there. So, find yourself a little bit of wall to fit in. You're going to have your feet this length away from the wall, so that when you sit in wall sit, your heel's directly underneath that knee, okay? And so I've got a bit of wall here. I'm gonna use my timer. So just be real careful because you can slip, obviously. So you can play around with it, see where your feet need to be. You want to get literally into a chair position. And then you want to do wall sit for about 30 seconds to a minute. And we can do lovely windows while we're here. Just check that your lower back's in the mat. You're neutral, so your sacrum's into not the mat, the wall. And then your lower back creeps away a little bit. And your shoulders are there. So you've done 30 seconds. You can have a little rest and come back to the next 30 if you want, or just rest. But if you want to do a minute, we're just in the second half of the minute now. So it's quite nice to come up into windows when we do this, because the wall actually shows you how flat you are in your gait, if you like. And then keeping your shoulders on the wall, bring your elbows together. And that's that whole minute done. Breath, secure your core and come back up. So what you can do is you can repeat those squats and that wall sit another time or another 2 times, and then you'd end up doing 30, which is cool. The other thing you can do if you do go back to it, I'm not going to, because we're going to whiz through this, and you might just want to do what I'm doing here, that's plenty. But if you wall sit, you can do this as well. You know, if you pass it another couple of times, you can maybe do your rotator cuff at the same time. Okay? Just distracts you. So we're getting into those real deep squats, coming down into this side lunge. So again, your back's nice and straight. You're not like this. Nice and straight. Bring your heel up, your toe up, so your heel's on the floor. Your knee here is over your foot. And it does not overshoot that toe. Do you see what I mean? It's just over the foot. And then you can waggle your ankle, well, not your ankle, you do it from your hip, kind of swing into your sitting bones so that you get a real stretch here, down your inner thigh, and then we'll wander over and do the other leg. Because you're going to do some strengthening and stretching, and we are going to have a bash at crow. If you've not done it with me in class, maybe don't do, but there's always alternatives. So I'm going to creep down into the real deep hip mobilization now. You can go boxy if you want. If you're not going to do crow, maybe do the box position and the lower position, the froggy position. But I'm going to do the froggy position and then the crow today. So I'm going to sit into it and just push the elbows in and out. So just remembering you can always pause, have a little rewind, have a little recap of any of the bit, or just pause and repeat any of the bits where I suggest there's a time to repeat. So this just gets right into your hips, doesn't it? So we've stretched, we've mobilized, and now we're going to strengthen. So breathe to prepare, secure your core, exhale, push into your knees with your elbows and your knees into your elbows. Breath. And then exhale. If you're in the boxy position, when you have a little breath, you can come up if you like, because it gets real tough when you're in this position on your quads. Bring that down into this push, breath, and release, coming up if you wish, straighten your legs. This one, you don't feel the need to as much, I find. It's just if you're in the boxy one, it's quite nice to come back up. Push and squeeze, lifting that pelvic floor, relax. And then I'm going to do 3 breaths in and out with continual squeeze breath. In and out. And again, don't worry if you can't get your heels on the floor, just on your toes is fine. It's probably harder in a way. Squeeze and breathe. Squeeze and breathe. Okay, so for the crow, you're still in this position, this very deep squat position. If you don't fancy doing the crow, then you can come up And you can do these ones, or you can carry on with these ones. You can even do wrist exercises. In fact, I'll do that for you now. Just, we can all benefit from this, just being on all fours, spreading your fingers like as if you're doing crow, because it's just so good for your fingers and your wrists. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, nice wide position there, and just coming into this circular motion. Pausing over the wrists, pausing as the weight goes into the glutes there, and just doing a couple more each side. Or we can repeat this squeezy thing, or we can have a bash at crow. So remember, we advise a cushion here in case you fall. So my forearms, upper arms, actually are just tucked inside the knees, and that kind of tells me where I want my very spread fingers out here. I'm going to be pressing into my fingers, so maybe practice that as well. Breathe. Think about the triangle shape that you're going to make with your hands, and the apex of the triangle being there where you gaze, okay? So just breathe to prepare, secure your core, coming up, and maybe just lean today. Maybe that's enough. Don't forget your gaze, because it really is so much of it. You just maybe creep up and down, get the feel where you want your knees to be in your arms. Remember, once you're up, you want your forearms very straight, like legs really. And then obviously you bend from your elbows, but the forearm is vertical. And it's meant to be easier the closer your knees are to your elbow, and then harder going up. But try, have a go where you feel like is good for you. You breathe to prepare, and then you exhale, find the position, and just look, I'm really on my toes. That might be enough. I feel like I'm a little bit too high there, so I'm going to go down, breath. Exhale, really leaning into my fingers, and then lift off. And then maybe point your toes, once you're building up your confidence to it, there. And just find your balance, breath. And then when you're ready, bring yourself down. So what other lovely things have we got? Yeah. So lovely press now. So we've been building up to press ups, haven't we? So I like to do the fancy stuff first sometimes, while you've got a little bit of energy and strength. So for your presses, you might just want to plank at first, because that's where we started with this series, just literally planking, pressing your fingers in. But if you want to have a bash at press, then we're keeping this L distance here, chin to chest. You're in that classic box position, and you're taking your elbows to the side, exhale down, breathing up. And then what's really hard is elbows to toes, trying to keep the back really straight, tucking your toes under for the next version, just hovering the knees, try not to go too high, you just shift the weight into your bum, and we're trying to get it in the upper body. Breathe. Exhale, press, elbows to the side. I kind of adjust my fingers, elbows to toes. I'm not going massively low, I'm finding it really hard. Back into on all fours, keeping your bum nice and low, and stretching out the old legs. Breath. Elbows to the side. Breathing up. Exhale, lower. Breathing up. And then elbows to toes, as much as your body will allow, coming into child pose. Just have a little wiggle each side of your pelvis. And then we're going to get into like a cobra position. Nice relaxed bum, pubic bone into the mat, and then elbows underneath your shoulders there. And we were saying in class this week that when you've done upper body work, press ups, it's a couple of days later, you can get real tight in your shoulders. So this really helps with that. So remember it if you want to literally just revisit this bit. Just going to hang your head down and feel the tissues in your shoulders, down your back, lengthen. That's all you're doing there, really, just getting a nice length. Trying to keep your ribs close to your body so that you're not bending your back. And then just nod up and down. Yes. And then we can go, no. Just lengthening these, slightly different neck flexors. Well, they'll be massively complicated, won't they? But just isolating those different ones there. And then the other thing that really alleviates tight back tension from maybe that you might get stiffness with if you've done your upper body press ups or just planking is rolling like a ball. So we're going to find ourselves on our bum, sitting up here in sitting. So just observing neutral spine, neutral pelvis. This is always going to curve in a little bit when you're neutral, and here as well. Your thoracic goes out a little bit, lumbar goes in and then back out a little bit at your sacrum. So we're going to change that into C curve. Literally, it almost makes it flat, really, the back. Just tuck your chin under, tuck your tailbone under, and then just balancing on your toes. There. And then maintaining that C curve. We're not going to panic into that reflex, rib flare. Keep your ribs tight to your body. Breath. Secure your core as you just literally let yourself roll back, up and down, kind of letting the floor run up and down your spine. Do not do this if you have a sore neck or extreme issues in your back. You'll want to just get on the floor and do pelvic tilts, okay? So this is good if you've got, like I've got a little bit of muscular stuff going on in my back at the moment. So this actually feels really nice on it. It's if you've got disc issues, you know, and spinal issues, particularly. So I'm going up and down there, and then I'm going to find myself just literally on my back in the relaxation position. And we're going to do lovely marble. So we'll just practice neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Make that lovely triangle and place the thumbs where your belly button is there. Okay, and this is going to be really flat like the floor, and you imagine that marble bang in the middle of that triangle there, and you're going to maintain the shape of that triangle and the marble in the middle of it for this whole series. Or we're going to apply different shapes, different positions of the marble, so your back can really find its way. But at the moment, the marble's in the middle there. Taking both hands by your thigh. You're keeping your ribs, pelvis, spine exact as you bring your arms up and over. So it's rib cage close. You're feeling real heavy in your arms. So you experience the mechanism in your shoulder, your ball and socket joint working. On the next one, you're going to heel slide. Just keeping your heel to the floor. If you want more, you can track the floor with your heel, but it's enough. We've got loads of ab work, so don't worry. Just worry more about keeping that marble central and then the other leg. I want you to experience that shape, that positioning, that changing position as your arm levers over your head, and how that feels. If you've got issue, is it crunchy? Does it feel a little bit uneasy? I want you to just notice that and see. You know, you might not be able to get to the floor, you might get to here, and that's okay. Just observe yourself. We're going to activate your core now. Try and remember these, because at the end of doing them all, you're going to get the chance to possibly repeat, pause and repeat. So try and remember them. You can obviously rewind and see what's going on again if you need to. So you're going to be bringing, with your secure core, your knee into your body, one knee at a time. And notice that as soon as, I've been doing this a lot in class, as soon as this knee comes forward of the hip towards your face, your lower back goes into the mat. The marble that's in your pelvis would have rolled into your belly button had it not been squashed. And you're going to try and maintain a spine imprint as you make some circles here. It's actually easier if you pop your chin to chest there and then come back. But sometimes it's a bit hard on the old neck flexors, so see. So it's imperative for all of this series now, where you're required to have that marble that was there roll into here, pushing your lower back into the floor, your lumbar. It's crucial that you know how that feels here with your back to the floor, so that if it starts to creep off as you maneuver your body, you've got to get back to safety. So I'll show you. So when you did the circles, this is safe. When your knees are forward towards your face of your hips, from your hips, your back goes into the mat, and that's always a really safe position when both feet are in the air. So remember to just do that. If your back creeps up, tuck your knees back in. So we're going to go into tabletop here, really pushing your lower back into the floor, rolling that marble into your belly button there, and just extending the legs. So it's actually easier in extension. It's harder to get your back into the floor as you come into tabletop, extend and lower. So remember, you can have the marble in the middle of that triangle there, quite low, when it's tempting to pull off the back from the floor, but you mustn't be having that marble roll between your legs, creating this shape. I'm doing it because my feet are on the floor, it's safe. I'm showing you what not to do. You would never have both feet in the air with your back in this position, that marble rolling between your legs there. You might have it neutral, you might have it spine imprint, okay? So I'll just do a couple more of those there. And just reminding you that if it is too hard to drive the back into the floor, bring your knees forward and it just pushes you back in to the floor. It's a little bit easier, but I would rather it be easier and safer. So now we're going to have a go at the next option, which is shoving your thumbs underneath your knees. My toes are pointed there and I'm lowering down. So this is where you really read your body. You can have your head on a cushion because it just helps with that C curve, pushing you back into the floor and then bringing it back up with a breath. Exhale, lower. So some people can get real low. They might end up neutral, that's okay. But some people might just manage to get here and that's okay, just do you. I'm just going to do two more of those. The last one I'll show you, the harder option, is where your hands aren't there at all. They're not tipping your pelvis into a safe space. So you have to have strong abdominals for that. And then bring your legs back in, have a rest. And then the final exercise of this abdominal series that we do is crisscross. We've done this loads of weeks now. So remember with crisscross, because your knees are forward to your face of your pelvis, your back's dead safe, it goes into the floor, no problem. You're going to pop fairy fingers on your ears, whack your elbow to your left, right elbow to left knee, and lengthen really quite low that other leg away from you. And then cross. And we go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. And then I suggest, you can go to baby or a little, just having a hug, that you, after you've had a rest, just repeat one of those exercises. You can even repeat this one, ribcage closure, or any of the other ones, and then crisscross again. So, or just, you don't even have to do crisscross, you can choose any of those exercises and just repeat 2 of them again, okay? So now we're going to concentrate on a little spine segmentation. Just getting into the relaxation position, we're going to do bridge. So just having your pelvis nice and neutral, that marble in the middle of the triangle here. And your thumbs are in your belly button. And then you're going to roll that imaginary marble into your belly button by wheeling your tailbone under. Okay, look, spine imprint again. You're going to press your heels into the floor and come up into your bridge. If you're getting cramp, you need to stretch these. I'll do it after this because we've got quite a bit on the bridge. Soft neck, heavy shoulders into the floor and wheeling your arms over your head. Feel your spine push down in between your scapula and just do it backwards, giving each vertebrae the attention they deserve, totally pressing each one into the mat. Look, you have to maneuver your pelvis to get the lumbar into the mat there, really pushing your lower back into the floor there. And then the marble is in your belly button. Relax, the marble goes back into the center of the triangle. And then keeping your tailbone on the floor, lift your ribs up. So you're spreading your ribs, the marble rolls between your legs. Relax, the marble goes back into that little space there in the middle of your triangle. Thumbs in your belly button. Triangle now in the middle of that. Marble now in the middle of that triangle. Okay, so let's just stretch out your hamstrings. You're going to go from this short lever into long lever. It's different to this, but if you want to just get a band and shove it over your foot and pull it with your leg high, that's fine. But this is just another option. Notice my leg is nearer my body, just getting quite a tight hamstring exercise in here. And then the other leg, so just swap over. I can hear my knee. I don't know if you can hear it there. Just a couple more. And then while this exercise looks like the bridge, the focus is now into the glutes, into those hamstrings. Heels underneath those knees. I'm going to thrust up and down for 5, 4, soft shoulders. You can maybe push your palms into the floor. Engage your triceps just to help. And then we're going to stay up in this bridge and push down into the right heel and come into tabletop, and then do 5 on this leg. If this is too much, if you're unable to keep your hips level, remember that spirit level there, Then just put that foot back down and carry on doing hip thrusts. And now the other leg, breath, exhale, push, drive into that left heel, bring the right leg into tabletop and come up and down here. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, coming back down. Maybe you want to have a go at that one again or try this one. And I'm just popping my thumbs there underneath my hips, raising this leg, coming down and up. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Feel the strength developing in your hamstrings, in your glutes. Up, down, 3, 2, 1. And then you are welcome to pause, repeat the whole bit, or just one of those exercises, hip thrusts. You can even pop a ball between your knees if that's the option that you want to stick with. Squeezing a cushion, or if you've got one of those yoga balls, the small ones, not the massive one, coming up and down there. And then to finish today, we're going to bring your arms to the side. We can do feet distance apart, windscreen wipers, or we can bring one leg into tabletop, so right leg into tabletop, lengthening this left leg and pushing the outside of that knee down to the floor, trying to keep this shoulder and opposite knee to the floor. Breathing here, stretching here. And then on this exhale, it gets you there, bringing this back up. Length of the leg, left leg. Getting the opposite hand palm on the outside of that knee there. Push it down. Breathe into your thoracic. Really breathe round your back. And as you practice this, you know, I'm not doing it today, but if I practice this, I can get my knee and my shoulder to the floor, just off a little bit. And it's good to observe if one side does it and one side doesn't do it. You don't have to do this. You can literally just be like this, both legs either side, with the hip distance apart with the feet all together. And then when you've done your stretch, you can do a reverse roll like a ball, tucking your back in the mat, coming up, or just creeping round into your side, walking up there, having a breath. So feeling really heavy into the floor once again. Make that connection, feel kind of free really to just be you, and just feel so proud of yourself for getting yourself on your mat today, doing as much as you possibly can, turning up for yourself, just in whatever capacity you've managed it. Breathe that goodness in, that wholehearted goodness in. Turning up for yourself, so important. You'll be a much kinder person, showing up for everybody else if you have done for yourself. Bring your palms together above your head, and then bring your thumbs to your heart center. You can do this. Just nod your chin down, shoulders above your hips there, and you say, "Namaste." Thank you so much for showing up again today. Love doing this with you, and I'll see you next time.